I just decided for the well-being of my dogs and everything, I had a young dog team left, that this was far enough, so we turned around and head back. And I pulled into where our camp spot was, and they were just finishing cleaning up, and Sarah turned around and looked at me and quite shocked. And I said to her, our race is finished. Will you still marry me?
You said no.
And she smiled, big smile and tear, and she said yes.
I always felt very sort of taken care of in those places. We come into places and I've gone like, ooh, I'm coming, and there's always someone being like, here's food over here, and there's you can sleep there, and always very cared for.
When it's over, you have a really good time. It's a tough way to lose 10 pounds, I'll tell you. The head marshal and judges were really fantastic people. I had some weak mental moments in Dawson City, and when Hans came to tell me that American Summit was life-threatening, I said, well, I don't need that, This is just a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. But after a lot of thinking and Jerry doesn't know how much he kept me in the race, but he did, just by the tone of his voice. And so I'm so glad I didn't cave into that weak moment.
We're like, we're out of the money, and I'm thinking, oh, we're going to catch somebody, we reserved the team, we're going to go out there, and the wind started picking up. And Thomas texted telling me that Sebastian, he said he's never seen it so windy out there, 40 miles. I go up, and I see Jody got turned around somehow and came in, and I'm getting worried here. I'm going, geez, how are we going to get out there and get to 40 miles? It's a 60-mile run. So I get out there with the leaders and started Mike got out there with his team, started breaking trail. So we just all worked together, breaking trail and finding the trail. It took us like 10 hours to get to Sebastian's. But we worked together. We had Jody up there feeding us and keeping our calories going. But Mike and I worked our butt off. Our leaders were really impressive. And it's a good way to find some good quality leaders when you're out there in that windstorm. They're trying to find that, that trail and going back and forth. They're working hard.
Put all my tough runs in my 3 previous quests together, and they didn't equal what this one was. But I think some of the best things in life are tough. And sometimes it's good to fight for what you get.
It was so wonderful that actually coming in on the Chena River, I started to see lights and hear planes and thought to myself, I'm just going to stop because I don't want this to be over.
Some of these hospitality places, one place cooked me 8 eggs. She is that personal, so I played. Pretty cool. The wife over there asked if I had any stories, and let's see, the whole, as well as these media people came up to me and said, what do you think about the next part of the race? What's going to happen? I said, no, I don't know. I know it's going to be something. I'm aware of it, and I'm ready.
It was a really excellent trail where it was an excellent trail, and it was very challenging where it was very challenging. And when I was camping on American Summit for 4 hours, waiting for Brent Sass and Silver to come rescue me, and then I realized he'd already gone, but it was up to myself to save myself. So we packed up and, kind of all of the dots of blown out snow machine track into Eagle. And then I kind of had to recuperate there for a long time, so he got even further ahead of me.
It was totally I was going to finish, we were going to make it to the finish line, but I wasn't going to race. I really just wasn't prepared for it. And before the race, I had a talk with Josh, and I said, if I'm ever down, it's your responsibility to get me back up. And I came in, and from the get-go, it was just, no, you're not doing that. He didn't tell me no, but he looked at me like with some weird look, like, what do you mean you're not racing, And I got my dogs all fed up, and we walked back, and he looked at me and said, we were in like 7th or 8th place at that point, and said, you've got a top 10 team, or a top 5 team. He said, this is a top 5 team right here. And I started believing from then, and here we are, fourth place.
Started the race with a kind of a hot rod team. I had 11 rowdy young males and 3 females in various stages of heat. It was just like, you know, these sparks were flying right away. And, you know, we kind of self-imploded there, but got down to this core group of 8 dogs that just ran a remarkable race. And, you know, all this drama kept happening along the way, and I just kept saying that, I mean, this race is not over until we cross the finish line. I just kept saying that, but there was times when I was really bummed out.
Yeah, just never give up. Over time, things started coming together, and in Dawson City, I made a joke, which was like, well, the only way I will do well in this race is if we get some bad weather. I don't know what I was thinking. I will definitely never ever say that one again. Little did I know what was coming. I mean, leaving Dawson, it just was like one whack after the other. You know, my first camp out, I woke up covered in 4 inches of fresh wet snow. American Summit, it was there somewhere in the wind. I didn't really see anything. I never even saw the liquor store.
And I really want to thank Ken Anderson. He came in there right as I was getting out of the water and stopped, and cost himself, I would say hours helping me out there as much as he could. Neither of us had a whole lot of extra gear, but he helped me get my almost frozen boots off, which allowed me to get some dry socks on and some bags inside those boots, which probably saved my feet from being very frostbit. When you're wet like that, getting frozen layers off is a 2-man job. So thanks a lot. He helped me hook up my dog team again and got going. I told him I got to stop and rebooty these dogs. Had to get those icy boots off them. I told him, go ahead, we'll be fine. He said, absolutely not. He stuck it out, waited for us, and we got moving.